Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Monster Hunter World video. Recently, I have been farming Lavasioth for his golden crowns to no avail, so hopefully, Arc-Tempered Lavasioth that is coming this weekend will bring with him a golden crown. So today, I'm bringing you guys some Arc-Tempered Lavasioth sets. Now, while these sets are pretty good, in my opinion, they're more what I have been using myself personally versus Lavasioth, because there are actually quite a few different ways to go about this guy. Especially if you're in a group, you can have a dedicated bowgun player to just have flaming ammo just to melt his armor, and everyone else can focus on water damage for DPS. But since I mainly play solo, I just use the next best thing, which is raw damage that doesn't give a crap about where you hit him from, you know what I mean? That being said, let's get into the first set. For this one, I'm going to be using the Dark Devourer. This is the Devil Joe Heavy Bowgun. I have it augmented for an attack increase and a health regen augment, because all this bowgun is good for are explosions. I also have it modded for 2 recoil suppressors and a reload assist, but you can opt for a shield depending on the monster you're going to be hunting. So if AT Lavasioth has some sneaky, weird things that we didn't expect, then you can swap out 1 recoil suppressor for a shield mod. Now before I show you guys the armor, I'm going to issue a statewide cringe warning here, okay? So proceed at your own risk and know that your life, might perish at the sight of the jewels, but I'm not responsible for that anymore, okay? Anyway, for the helmet, I'm going to be using the Xeno'jiiva Headgear Gamma, slotted with a Challenger Jewel and an Attack Jewel. The chest is the Empress Male Beta, slotted with 3 more Attack Jewels. The gauntlets are the Xeno'jiiva Claws Gamma, slotted with 2 Challenger Jewels. The coil is the Xeno'jiiva Spine Gamma, slotted with a Release Jewel and another Attack Jewel. The boots are the Kulturoth Wrath Gamma, slotted with a Flawless Jewel and an Artillery Jewel. And the charm is the Awakening Charm 2. As a whole, this would give you maxed out attack boost, agitator, ammo up, and peak performance, 2 spare levels of Blight Resistant Power Prolonger, a spare yet very welcome level of Heat Guard, 1 spare level of critical boost, 1 level of artillery and special ammo boost, and the Xeno'jiiva set bonus, spare shot. Now that last level of artillery, you could swap it out for a bunch of different things, maybe a medicine jewel, a health boost jewel, maybe even a quick sheath jewel. It's just a free level 1 slot at the end of the day, so do with it whatever you wish. And again, at the end of the day, this is just another standard cluster set, really. It's nothing crazy or innovative or anything specifically built around it, but it works really well because you're just going to stun lock Lavasioth and then shit on him with crap load of damage anyway, so kills him real fast. Highly recommend. Now the second set I'm going to be showing you guys is a Charge Blade set.
What? Really?
I'm shocked.
That's insane.
I never expected this.
Another Charge Blade
It's
set?
crazy.
Really?
Now, there actually is a reason for taking Charge Blade for Lavasioth. It's not just because I play Charge Blade, okay? And that is because, in case you didn't know, whenever you do charge up your sword, you actually have innate Mind's Eye, which means that your attacks will never bounce. They will go through no matter what part of the body you're hitting him, no matter what his armor status is. So Charge Blade is actually a pretty good matchup for Lavasioth in that regard, and any weapon that has any sort of innate Mind's Eye is great for that same reason. So this set, again, isn't really anything special, but it is what I have been using personally to farm Lavasioth, and it's a razor sharp set for the Tereth Strongarm Horn / Tyrannus 2. I have Health Boost 3 in here because I really hate getting one-shotted after I miss time and SAED, and he just decides to do that one flaming gargle attack that one-shots you. Absolutely hate that. But if you're a better player than me, which is actually not that difficult of a task to, accomplish, then you can swap out this for some attack boost or maybe some critical eye, or whatever else you want, really. With 5 handicraft and razor sharp, your white actually lasts a hell of a long time, which is way more than what you can say about Master's Touch, due to the negative affinity of this thing, and plus the fact that we can't really rely on weakness exploit too much. It'll mean that you can barely crit this guy, so just banking on raw damage is probably your best bet, and this is definitely the best way to extend that white sharpness. And finally, this is another good matchup for Lavasioth. It is a elementless longsword set. Now with longsword, you will bounce off sometimes, but since your R2 combo, your spirit / combo or whatever, those attacks do have Mind's Eye built in, so you won't actually bounce off very often, but considering you do have to do normal attacks to build up your spirit meter or spirit gauge or whatever, sometimes you'll hit some spots. So if you want to completely negate that, then you can fit in Mind's Eye into this set, but you don't have to, just as long as you play well, because your foresight / your parry, counter, whatever, also has Mind's Eye. So as long as you play your cards right, you should almost always have Spirit Gauge and attacks to go along with it. But anyway, because we can't really rely on Weakness Exploit, we're going to try to get as much raw crit as possible to make use out of Master's Touch, which we can do with this longsword because unlike the Diablo CB, it doesn't have a million negative affinity. But anyway, the longsword I'm talking about is of course the Tereth Sword Fire. I have mine augmented for a health regen augment and slotted with a critical jewel. The helmet is going to be the Nergigante Helm Beta, slotted with an attack jewel and an expert jewel, and the rest of the armor is going to be Draken gear, slotted with a total of 1 mighty jewel, 3 destroyer jewels, and 1 elementalist jewel. The charm is going to also be the Handicraft Charm 3. Now I have Part Breaker in here because you literally will be dealing baby dick damage until you break his parts, so they're wounded or vulnerable or whatever, and only then will you actually deal a decent amount of damage. So breaking them faster and with less hits will help you deal more DPS a lot sooner. And the reason I have 3 levels of Handicraft in here, even though this longsword doesn't really need it particularly because it does have a decent bit of white sharpness, is because again, we won't be able to rely on crit too much. So we'll only be critting about half of the time, maybe a little bit less, so our sharpness will deplete since we're relying on Master's Touch, not Razor Sharp. So having a lot more white to spare will go a long way and let you keep up that white throughout the entire fight, which is pretty good. Well guys, those are my sets. Again, nothing too crazy, but I just wanted to show them to you. And if you guys have any suggestions, as always, please leave them down in the comment section below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, then a like would be super appreciated. And if you like what I do here on the channel, then consider subscribing. And if you really like what I do here on the channel, then consider pledging to my Patreon. There's a bunch of rewards if you do, including a calendar with all the videos I plan to release for the month, and the ability to vote or suggest for them. So again, thank you to all my patrons. I really do appreciate your support. But that's going to be it for me, guys. AT Lavasioth drops this weekend, as well as the Witcher quest, so expect some coverage on that. I'm really interested to see what the hell Capcom has cooked up. But yeah, I hope you guys are all having a great week, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.